Hello, my dear ceramists, potters, and hand building artists. So, like I said in my previous video, I'm going to show you the trick to not wipe out the surfaces of the glaze and have the whole piece, not something like this, but have your whole piece glazed. So this is an entire piece which is glazed. I did not wipe out the surface. If you want me to show you an example of how it's gonna look like if you wipe out the surface, this is how it's gonna look like. So this piece, I did not put any glaze on the back side. I just put the glaze at the front, and even this piece here. I kind of put the glaze on the entire piece, but then I also cleaned it so that it wouldn't touch the cookie. Yeah. So this is an entire piece that is glazed, and this is an entire piece that is glazed too. So now you will ask me what are these marks. So when you want to glaze your entire piece, there are these things called stilts. It is made of it's made of clay, bisque fired. So this is how it sounds like. It is bisque fired clay. So when you have to glaze your entire piece, what you have to do is you just need to use one of the stilts. Stilts come in different shapes and sizes. This is the smallest one that I have, and this one is the decent size, and this is the medium size. And I have a very big piece which is a hexagonal stilt with multiple needles. So if I have to glaze this piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on the stilt, and this is how it's going to look like. So during the process of glazing, what happens is the entire piece will get glazed, but it will not stick to the cookie because of the needles that you see. And when you have to remove the piece from the stilt, it is very easy. You just with some pressure, you remove it and it's gonna come out. So yeah, this is one of the options that you can do if you don't want your surfaces to be wiped out, and if you want the glazing for the entire piece. So I also make miniature pieces, which is why I use these small stilts. You need to be very careful when you place your pieces on the stilt so that it doesn't, you see what's happening? It doesn't fall. Yeah. Sometimes there are chances that it might slip during the process of firing. So what happens when it happens? This is what's gonna happen. And when that happens, I have a piece which I recently did the glaze firing, and yeah, you see when the piece slips, the needles, the impressions will be on the sides of the piece, something like this. I tried to sand this part, but I'm not really happy about it because it kind of left some scratches on my piece. I really love this piece. You see these scratches? Yeah. It's hard to notice, but but I know it is a defect. So yeah, this is what is gonna happen. So make sure you have some good stilts. And moving forward, for this piece I used a stilt like this, and then during the process it just slipped, and then this is what happened. But moving forward, I'm gonna use this hexagonal stilt because this is more convenient, and there is no chance that it will fall or slip. And one more thing is that when you want to wipe the surfaces for glazing, you could also do this. Not you could, but you always have to do this. When you wipe down the surface, make sure you make cookies which are like this, and you place your pieces on the cookies. So cookie is also nothing but a bisque fired plate. You don't have to bisque fire it to use the cookie. You can just make the clay piece like this, a flattened plate, And when you are like, giving your pieces for the glaze fire, you can directly put your pieces on the bone dry clay and your pieces and get both of them fired at the same time. So this is why it is important to have your own cookies, to place them on the shelf, and even in the worst cases, if your glaze drips, you are covered. I know it might result in your piece might get damaged, but at the same time you don't have to pay extra for damaging the kiln shelf of the kiln. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of having the cookies. In case if you want to have your entire piece glazed, like I said, you can always choose this option. Glaze the entire piece. Place this on the stilt. Glaze the entire piece. Place it on the shelf. And always make sure to avoid not having cookies, your pieces should cover the stilt. This piece is very big and it covers the entire stilt, so I don't have to put a cookie underneath. But if you're placing this piece on this stilt, which is this. No, let me use another piece. Let's say if I'm using this stilt for a piece which is this big, I would recommend always have a cookie underneath. You never know if your glaze drips, and you will know based on the glaze that you choose. The box always says if it's a dripping glaze or a regular glaze, but worst case, always have a cookie underneath. But if your stilt is this big, I wouldn't recommend having an additional cookie. This should be fine. Yeah, I hope this information helps you all, and yeah, see you and wait for my next videos. Take care.